Hey friends, my name is Antoinette Chanel and welcome back to my channel. Once upon a time, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle were the most talked about couple on the planet. A fairy tale prince and a Hollywood bride striking out on their own and cashing in on their royal exit by making all these brand deals and telling their story. And you've already heard the deal if you've been on this channel before. But fast forward to today, and I hypothesize, along with lots of other people, that the money is definitely drying up for Harry and Meghan. And I actually was tipped off to this because of research that I did for a prior video that I did on them talking about their staffing shakeup. I think that the release of staff members most recently had a lot to do with budget reasons, more than what they're telling us, of course. And I'm also kind of curious about what's happening with the donations at Archwell. So let's just jump into this and figure out what's going on. When Harry and Meghan stepped down from their royal duties in 2020, when Megxit happened, they needed new sources of income fast. Enter Spotify and Netflix, two major deals that were reported to be worth $150 million combined. And so for a moment, it seemed like they had secured their financial independence forever. I mean, I think Spotify even built an addition onto their house so that Meghan could record the podcast at home. But then the cracks started showing after Spotify decided to end their agreement with the Sussexes after one season of Meghan's podcast. Netflix too is reportedly scaling back, and the contract that they have with the Sussexes is supposed to end in 2025. If their contract with Netflix does get extended, which I don't think it will, but if it does, I don't think it's going to be worth as much as the first one was. So those two big old cash cows are drying up. So in addition to the income shrinking, there's also the cutting of costs, which is something that they sort of have to do because that Montecito mansion has a lot of upkeep and an expensive mortgage. Annual security costs just for the home are estimated to be $2 million. And we know how much they love their security. Those are some pretty hefty bills, and they really don't care about what your Netflix contract status is. When they're due, they're due. Let's talk about Archwell. When Harry and Meghan launched Archwell in 2020, it was positioned as their base initiative. Like this was going to be the central focus for their charitable dealings now that they were not in the royal family. And at that time, they told us they were going to channel their donations and all of their philanthropy into meaningful causes. In its first full year of operations, Archwell reportedly took in $13 million in donations. That number sounds really impressive on the surface, but when you look closer at fiscal year 2020 to 2021, you see that there was a $10 million donation that came from an anonymous donor in Silicon Valley. So that one major gift is skewing their numbers a bit, almost like what I showed you when I was talking to you about Centabale and the Centabale donations. There was one-time donation from Harry in the amount of, I think it was like £235,000, and that made their numbers look really, really good for that year, but then they start to drop off afterwards because the charity's not taking in that many donations. It's not broad public support, it's one major gift. And we see that by 2022, the donations for Archwell had dropped to just $2 million. While these donations dropped, the expenses and operating costs did not. Those increased. Archwell finished the year 2022 at a deficit, and I've recorded that number as roughly $674,000. So that's how much more they spent than what they actually took in donations. Archwell has also faced administrative challenges in recent years. In 2023, they received a delinquency notice for failing to submit required tax documents to California's Attorney General office on time. And on the surface, I think a lot of us just laughed because it was like, okay, these two can't meet deadlines. But in actuality, what that did was put a pause on any fundraising efforts that could be made at Archwell until that was all brought current. And the issue was later resolved, but I've spoken to you before, also in that Sentabale video I did, about public perception and how it's not good for any charity to be associated with controversy in the media. None of that. You want people to just believe in you, believe in the work that you do, and want to support your cause. So it looks bad that this clerical error was allowed to happen. That's something that you wouldn't expect from a legitimate charity, a charity that runs on the up and up that the public can trust. Now, they did rebound in 2023, and their donations totaled $5.3 million at the end of 2023. They also awarded $1.3 million in grants that year. It'll be interesting to see what their 2024 numbers look like. Those are not available yet, or at least I was not able to find them. But I think that Archwell is still struggling with maintaining consistent donations. That's just my hypothesis. We'll see when it actually comes out. As Archwell moves forward, I think that their success will be determined on whether or not they can maintain public trust. They will also have to work on attracting ongoing donor interest in order to keep their donations sustainable for the charity. The philanthropic landscape is becoming more and more competitive in that we have a lot more charities and nonprofits that people are operating and seeking funding for. So we'll see how Archwell fares as it continues forward. All of the brand deals and the Archwell dealings aside, Meghan and Harry no longer receive funding from the royal family. No Duchy of Cornwall, no sovereign grant. If there's something that they want to do now and it requires capital, that has to come from their own funding sources, their own pocketbook. And with fewer deals on the table, I would say that their financial position is more precarious than it was 5 years ago. So, are Harry and Meghan broke? No, not at all. They're just burning through their money really, really fast. And I don't see any new high-paying gigs or deals being introduced that could offset these costs. I think their financial independence is less secure now than it was 5 years ago. And they won't admit that, they won't say that. That's part of why Meghan does these weird limited drops that she has for her products, where everything gets sold out really quickly, even though people have been sitting by waiting to purchase for a while. And as I analyze the reception to her newest brand, As Ever, and I look at how the public is receiving that, I think that creating this false sense of scarcity is part of Meghan's tactic for boosting the products that she's selling with As Ever, because they always seem to sell out really, really quickly, yet we only see 3 or 4 people with pictures of the products and giving reviews of the products. I have not seen what I consider to be a widespread rollout to the public where the general public is able to get their hands on these things. It seems like you have to either know somebody or be on some list where she sends you products and then, you know, you post about it in return for her. It doesn't seem like the launch of this has been the way that I've seen other brands launch. And that's probably to drive up hype, drive up interest, but I mean, I can see it for what it is. I know I'm not the only one. Other people can see that too. And if I can pull back a bit, I just want to say that this isn't just about Meghan and Harry. This is a cautionary tale about the volatility of celebrity wealth. One minute you're the world's hottest power couple, and then the next you are drastically reducing staff in order to lower your overhead and keep costs lower. I don't think it's about whether or not they can make money. I think it's about whether or not the public is still going to buy into what they're saying, and if they're going to buy into it at a level that allows them to maintain their exorbitant lifestyle. We'll see. But those are my thoughts. My friends, if you made it all the way to the end of this video, I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. That really helps me out in the algorithm. Also, if you'd like to see more content from me, consider hitting the subscribe button so you can see all the videos that I have uploaded here on YouTube and also get notifications when I upload new ones. If you'd like to keep up with me on Instagram, you can follow me at the handle that's on your screen now. Otherwise, my friends, take care, and I'll catch up with you in the next video. Bye!